I had been dubbing in a studio for this upcoming film of mine at a point when none of my films had released. So I was an unknown person. And through the time I'm in the studio, pure vegetarian, they wouldn't let me eat in the studio. They would make me sit on a plastic chair outside on the sidewalk if I wanted to eat non-veg food or eat vegetarian food on the inside. So I spent 3 weeks sitting on a plastic chair on the sidewalk between the parked car and the studio wall, eating my food. One fine day, the promos for my film Jaane Tu come out, and suddenly these guys are all smiles. Suddenly,
because now you're a big star, so now you can.
Suddenly it's, sir, why don't you sit inside in the air-conditioned lounge? We've pre-ordered some mutton biryani for you, sir. We've got plates and forks and spoons. Earlier on, I couldn't use any of the cutlery or utensils from there because it would be contaminated. Now, suddenly it is, sir, here is a plate for you. Here is an air conditioner. And here is a row of people standing and smiling. Sir, how much value now do I give to this smile? This guy didn't smile at me yesterday. Yesterday, he couldn't have cared less about me. Today, he's falling over himself to hold my plate while I eat. How am I to value that? How do I respect that? How do I take that and say, that's right. That's how great I am.
Yeah.
It's because of how great I am that all of these people are smiling at me. Everyone smiles at me because I'm such a nice guy. Obviously, it can't be anything else. I couldn't value it. The feeling of every room you ever walk into, everyone is leaping up, everyone is smiling, everyone is, sir. You're so wise, sir. You're so funny, sir. Very smart, sir. Those got great script sense. Do I? Really? Everyone thinks I'm so great? It doesn't, it's hard for me to sink in and say, really? You just decide suddenly I'm so great?
And if there's a film that's not a massive commercial success, all of that then automatically turns because it's fleeting.
Yeah. So that part strangely hurts a lot more. It's easy enough, and it was always easy enough to not get swept away in the accolades because I never really had that sense. I was always, look, I'm just trying to do my work, and imprecise, imperfect. I'm a young learning actor. I'm trying to do a thing with each film, and sometimes you manage to pull it off. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're like, I think I did this one right. I did that one wrong. Your own sense of it is somewhere here, and if you're a halfway honest creative person, you will rate it as slightly less and say, okay, it's not that great. So for me, that was always how I would look at it. So even if something was commercially successful, I would still say, okay, what is my level of personal satisfaction with it? So I always erred on the side of less. So when you get to the other side, a thing doesn't do well, and suddenly everyone is like, now you're lost. Now you're lost. Now your entire career is wiped out. And you start to believe that. You do start to feel that. You start to internalize that.
Did it happen at some point for you that you started to like feel like, okay, now I'm a failure and it's not going to come back, and I'm sort of...
Yeah. Very much. Because that is the ecosystem that exists around you is incentivized to look at everything purely from that commercial perspective. And any nuance of then the other parts of a film are lost. The idea of, okay, opening weekend box office was not up to the mark. Are there other metrics by which we gauge a film? Do you place any value on those? Nobody else did. And then you start to say, well, I guess I'm naive. I don't have street smarts. I've got these romantic notions of love and the purity of cinema and such. I don't understand how the real world works, and you start to then buy into that version and say, well, I had this beautiful romantic idea that if you make a sweet little film and it will be nice, but that's not how the big bad world is.